What's up, buddy?
I was working with Michael Bay.
I mean, it's about how you'd expect it to be working with Mike Bay. I mean, I don't really like come into a whole lot of contact. I work with mostly guys like him, but he's like a lot of those kind of directors are maniacs. They're like they want things a very specific way.
Yeah. And no matter how many times you tell them it's not exactly the safest way.
Yeah, that's the problem when you're in stunts is there's like, I get what you want, buddy, but there's also like these things like physics and like safety protocols. Right, yeah. That we should probably kind of at least a little bit pretend like we're paying attention to.
I've got a question about working with kids and kids in action movies and
nightmare.
How does that work? Is that all CG'd out, or are there stunt? Or like, how does that work? Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the kids, but it's a nightmare usually. Well, because not just for like because you're working with kids, but also there's a lot of like legal, like like time frames and things like that. It's a lot more complicated.
Yeah, they can only work a certain amount of time per.
Which is also why they usually try to find like twins and things when they're shooting kids, because then you have like extra sort of leeway with that kind of thing.
Work with little people when you can.
Right, it's fair, exactly. So like if you lose one, you've got one that looks the same. Car accidents happen, things like that. Yeah.
Find
like,
quads.
Exactly. You find as many that look the same as you can. But no, I mean it's complicated. It's not really a lot of CG. It's there's a lot of little people that sub in legitimately for kids. More than you would suspect.
In stunts,
yes, especially, because it's like, they go, it vaguely looks like it could be a kid, like a slightly chunky kid.
If it's not...
Yeah, so I had a question. I've been like, my background is like military, aviation, and artillery and stuff. And I've always either been blown up or flown or thrown or dropped or, like, how do you become a stunt driver? I have a friend that's a stunt, like, he does the whole jumping Power Ranger thing, but, he's never been able to give me a concrete answer as far as like, how do you become a stunt driver?
Good luck. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, it's pretty much just like anything else in the industry. I mean, you just kind of get on board with some project and show that you can do it, and eventually you start getting more and more work. I mean, it's like the stunts in general is very similar to say like voice acting. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so once you get into things like voice acting or stunts or like those kind of niche like roles, it's the same people over and over. So you end up working with a lot of the same people and the same like production companies and stuff like that. It's just seemingly random. I don't know. It's hard to quantify that with an answer like how to get your foot in the door. It's like anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of like local production stuff that you can kind of get into.
For stunt driving, I don't really know, but I can tell you.
Stunt acting is a whole lot easier to get into.
Like hang out in gyms. Like, seriously, that's
especially local. If you're local, like Tampa is a lot of the pro wrestling scene is from. So
that's essentially a stunt actor.
If you hit any gym where wrestlers train, they're training stunts.
Yeah. And the thing is,
easily sort of transition that.
And because these coordinators, a lot of times you'll work on in a smaller capacity. Like I said, my first job in the industry was literally helping somebody look like they were actually boxing. And just because I had the right look, I had the right range of motion and technique that they were looking for, and I just had to teach him to look like he could throw a punch or look like he could take a punch. So it's really just being in the right place at the right time. But if you enjoy what you do, if you like doing stunts and you like being physical and kind of being at that level, just keep doing what you're doing. Eventually, if you're hanging in the right places, you'll get found.
Yeah, and honestly, sometimes be willing to work for free. I mean, that's like a lot of people are like, oh, but my time and my training. That's great if you can keep 100% of nothing if you're not working. You know what I mean? Like be a team player. Eventually, you'll get in.
Yep. And if they ask you if you can do something, even if you can't, say
sure
you can.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to show you how to do it anyway.
It's the same thing as the military. It's like, hey man, who volunteers?
I mean, really any job, right? If you're like, can you do this? Yeah, because everyone shows you the way they want you to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So as long as you know the broad strokes, yeah, absolutely, I can do that. They're going to walk you through it 15 times before they ever put you into the role.
That's half of it. Just be willing to take the punch. That's really what it is. You know, be willing to put the work in. It's like with anything else. If you put the work in and you're willing to do things that other people won't, you're going to get noticed. That's why you typically get in when you're really young, because that's when you're still too stupid to realize you're hurting yourself.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Hi. So
Hi.
your jobs sound fantastic, but I was kind of curious. Is there anything you're like maybe not necessarily looking forward to when you go to work every day?
Honestly, as long as they're paying, I'm going to do what they ask me to do. That's my one rule. I have to get paid.
Yeah.
I'm not
Which
20
one is-
anymore.
Yeah.
So
Standing around and waiting a lot. That's the worst part of the job in general, because like you are there the whole day for the most part, and you're not working most of the time. There's a lot of like setup and tear down that you're just kind of standing around during, and it sucks.
and we don't get trailers.
Yeah, you're just like, this is fantastic. It's outside, it's hot.
You're in a
it
tent
sucks,
with
and, yeah.
fans and things, but you're not.
Or it's ice cold. Like there's never any nice moderate times. It's either like 1,000 degrees or it's like negative 1,000 degrees, and you're just like, cool, great. This is my whole day. And sometimes you don't do anything the whole day. You're just there.
I used to love when we would do winter scenes in the dead of summer, and you'd have to be
All bundled.
all
like,
bundled up and
That's
still,
more the regular stunt stuff. Like, thank God in the car. Like, if they don't need to see me, I don't. Yeah.
Thank you.